It kind of sneaks up on you, Like one minute you're just scrolling through your feed, and the next you're hit with this realization. AI is everywhere.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? The sheer speed at which it's woven itself into, well, everything.
It really is. And it's not just, the self-driving cars and whatnot. We're talking about AI creating art, writing stories.
And even composing music.
Exactly. Which, speaking of, leads me to something I stumbled upon recently. I was on Unite AI, I imagine you're
Oh,
familiar
yeah,
with it.
absolutely. It's a gold mine for staying in the loop, AI-wise.
Totally. Anyway, they had this article, 10 Best AI Music Generators, October 2024. Couldn't resist a little clickbait, right?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious about that myself. It's a hot topic these days.
No kidding. But here's the thing. It's not just the big names everyone's guzzing about. The article dives into this whole spectrum of AI music tools. Some geared toward like seasoned pros, others more for, well, the musically challenged. Like myself, full disclosure.
So something for everyone, then.
Pretty much. Which got me thinking, how good can this stuff really be? I mean, we're talking about AI replicating something as fundamentally human as music. Thankfully, that's where you come in. What's the deal with AI music generation? How does it even work?
A lot of people assume it's all about, like, pressing a button and having a full song magically appear.
Right, like a high-tech jukebox.
Exactly. While some tools do aim for that, it's way more nuanced. AI's popping up in all sorts of ways within the music creation process.
Okay, so walk me through this.
Think about it. You've got melody, harmony, rhythm, instrumentation. Creating a piece of music involves all these different moving parts, right?
Makes sense.
Well, AI tools are emerging to assist with pretty much every stage of that.
So instead of replacing musicians altogether, it's more like what, giving them an AI assistant?
In a way, yeah. For instance, some tools specialize in generating background music. Say you're a video editor who needs something for a scene, but finding the perfect royalty-free track is, well, a headache. AI can whip something up tailored to your needs.
Practical. I like it. But
Yeah.
let's be real, it's the make me a whole song thing that's got me curious. This Udio Tool article mentioned they called it ChatGPT for music. Bold claim. How does that even work?
Imagine feeding a program an absolutely massive library of music. I'm talking millions upon millions of songs. Classical, jazz, pop, the works. That's essentially what these AI music generators do. They analyze these massive data sets not to copy them, but to learn.
Learn how.
To pick up on the patterns, the structures, the relationships between different musical elements. It's a bit like,
It's like how we learn language, right?
exactly, we're exposed to words, sentences, and gradually we internalize the rules of grammar without even realizing it. These AI systems, they do something similar with music.
So it's like those AI image generators everyone's going crazy for. You feed it a bunch of pictures, it deciphers the patterns, and bam, creates something new. Except this time, it's music instead of images.
Spot on. And just like with those image generators, the results can be surprisingly good. With Udio, for example, you could type something like, create a mellow jazz track with a bluesy saxophone solo, and the AI will take a crack at composing something fitting that description.
See, now that's what I'm talking about. That's wild. But Udio is just one of many, right? What other crazy approaches did you find in this article? So many tools, so little time, right? One that really jumped out at me was Hydra 2 by Rightsify. It's all about the data, baby.
It's true, Hydra 2 boasts a pretty impressive training data set, over 1 million songs. That's a serious chunk of music.
1 million songs. That's like
Yeah.
more music than I could listen to if I don't know, lived to be 1,000.
It really highlights the power of AI, doesn't it? To sift through, analyze, and actually learn from that amount of data. Mind-boggling, really.
So for someone like me, someone who's, shall we say, musically challenged, what's the big selling point of Hydra the Second? How is it different from, say, Udio, which we talked about earlier?
Well, aside from the sheer volume of its musical diet, Hydra II has a specific focus. It's all about creating customizable, royalty-free music.
Music to my ears, literally. Yeah. Especially these days with so many creators online, always on the lookout for music they can actually use without getting hit with copyright strikes left and right.
Exactly. It addresses a real pain point in the industry. And it shows how AI isn't just about pushing tech for tech's sake. It's about solving real-world problems, creative ones at that.
I'm sensing a theme here. These AI music tools, they're like this bridge between, artistic vision and the sometimes not so fun realities of copyright law. Speaking of which, this article also mentioned Boomy, which seems to take a whole other approach to that whole copyright thing.
Ah, yes, Boomy. Now, there's an interesting case study in how AI is shaking up the music industry and maybe ruffling a few feathers along the way.
Because with Boomy, it's not just about making the music. You can actually like send it out into the world, get it on Spotify, Apple Music, all that.
That's right, and potentially earn royalties from it. We're talking about AI-generated music making its way onto your playlists, your workout mixes.
Okay, now that's just wild. So you're telling me anyone with a laptop, an internet connection, and a bit of time on their hands could become the next, I don't know, Drake, even if they've never touched a musical instrument in their life.
It's an exciting prospect for some, to be sure. For others, maybe a little daunting. It raises some big questions about the role of the artist, the future of the music industry.
Right. Like if AI is composing, arranging, even producing the music, what does it even mean to be a musician in this brave new world? It's like something out of science fiction.
Definitely a topic for a whole other deep dive. But, for all the talk about replacing human creativity, this article also highlighted tools that are more about collaboration. Amadeus Cloud, for example. Have you had a chance to look into that one yet?
Oh, yeah. Amadeus Code. This one intrigued me because it seemed, I don't know, less about clicking buttons and more about feeling the music. I think they were talking about using gestures to create music. Am I getting that right?
Absolutely. Amadeus Code is an iOS app, so it's all about touch and interaction. Instead of inputting notes or selecting instruments from a drop-down menu, you're using gestures on your phone's screen to shape the music. Imagine swiping to create a soaring melody or tapping to lay down a beat.
So it's almost like conducting an orchestra, but with your fingertips. That's pretty neat.
Exactly. It speaks to this trend of making AI music tools more intuitive, more accessible to people who might not have a background in traditional music theory or know their way around a mixing board.
That's what I love about this whole field. It's not just about replacing human musicians with machines. It's about opening up new possibilities for creative expression, giving more people the tools to, well, make some noise.
A democratization of music creation, you might say.
I like that. A democratization of music creation. It has a nice ring to it, but it also begs the question, what happens when everyone from seasoned pros to, well, folks like me, suddenly has the power to create music at their fingertips? How does that change the way we listen to, share, value even, music?
Now, those are the million-dollar questions, aren't they? And they take us beyond the technology itself into the realms of art, culture, maybe even philosophy.
Okay, now you got me really thinking. We've talked a lot about the what of AI music generation, but I think it's time we delve into the so what. What are the bigger implications here? I mean, is this just a fad, or are we on the cusp of a musical revolution? It really feels like we're standing at the edge of something big, don't you think?
I agree. It's a pivotal moment for music, that's for sure. This whole AI music thing has us asking some pretty fundamental questions.
Like, what does it even mean to be a musician or a composer in a world where an algorithm can whip up a catchy tune in seconds?
Right, that's the big one, isn't it? And it's a question a lot of working musicians are grappling with, understandably so. But, history shows us that whenever a new technology disrupts the status quo, it often leads to anxiety, fear even.
Makes sense. People fear what they don't understand. But you're saying this whole AI music thing, it's not necessarily the threat it's made out to be.
Not necessarily, no. Think about the invention of the electric guitar. Back in the day, that was seen as some kind of sacrilege by a lot of musicians. Not a real instrument, they said. Where's the soul, the craftsmanship?
And now, you can't imagine rock, blues, even pop music without it.
Exactly. It revolutionized music, opened up a whole new world of sonic possibilities, and I think we could be seeing something similar with AI.
So instead of replacing human musicians, it's more about, what, giving them a new set of tools,
Yeah.
expanding the creative palette.
Precisely. I know plenty of musicians who are already using AI in their process to break through writer's block, explore unconventional harmonies, that sort of thing. It can be a powerful tool for experimentation.
It's like AI becomes this collaborator, this other voice in the room, pushing you in directions you might not have explored otherwise.
Absolutely. And who knows, maybe this fusion of human and artificial creativity, maybe that's what sparks the next big musical revolution. It's an exciting thought, isn't it?
It is. Though I got to admit, a part of me still wonders, where do we, the listeners, fit into all of this? I mean, sure, AI can make music, but can it replace that feeling you get when you hear a song that truly resonates with you? Something a human poured their heart and soul into.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it's something this article really got me thinking about. Imagine a world where your streaming service doesn't just curate playlists, but actually composes personalized soundtracks in real time, tailored to your mood, your environment.
Okay, that's kind of cool. A big brother-ish maybe, but cool. But still, You're talking about AI responding to our emotions, not necessarily feeling them itself.
Right, and that's where the conversation gets really interesting. Because if AI can create music that moves us, music that makes us feel something, even if it doesn't feel those things itself, well, does that change how we define art, creativity?
Deep thoughts, man. Deep thoughts.
Yeah.
So where does that leave us? I mean, it seems like we've only just scratched the surface here.
We have, and that's the exciting part. This field is evolving at a dizzying pace. What we've talked about today, it's just a snapshot, a glimpse into what might be possible. Ultimately, it's up to all of us, musicians, tech folks, listeners, to figure out how AI fits into the future of music.
To make sure it's a future where music, no matter who or what creates it, continues to connect us, move us, inspire us.
Exactly, because at the end of the day, that's the magic of music, isn't it?
Couldn't have said it better myself. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of AI music generation. Hopefully this has given you plenty to think about, maybe even sparked a little curiosity to explore further.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for a starting point, I highly recommend checking out the full article on unite.ai. It's a great overview of this rapidly evolving landscape.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep those ears open and stay curious.